Welcome back to my series on SAT mathematics. So this is chapter two. We'll be dealing with rational, irrational, and decimals in this particular chapter. So do not forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the post notification for subsequent videos. And let's get right into this now. Now for this particular one, we'll be discussing rational, irrational, and decimals. So I have this short note for you. Now, if we were to discuss um, natural numbers, what are natural numbers? They are just counting numbers. Like, for instance, you can't say that somebody is number zero, but you can start with number one, number two, number three. So those are natural numbers. So the difference between a natural number and a whole number is a whole number has zero. So zero is a whole number, unlike natural. Now, if I combine natural numbers, whole numbers together, but this time around, if I include negativity, that means minus one, minus two, like that, then it becomes what? An integer. Is that clear? I'm very sure that's clear. Now let's go to rational numbers now. So if I can express any number as as what? A fraction, then it's a rational number. So the decimal form of a rational number is either a terminating or a repeating decimal. Terminating means that it can be 0.5, it stops. Now, but if I have 1 over 3 now, it will be 0.333. It continues there. So it's a repeating decimal. That's why they ask that bar there. So look at this one now, 4.23. So it's saying 4.2323. That's why the bar is there. So it's a rational number. Now, irrational numbers, they are basically numbers that are not rational. So example could be pi. You know pi in math, it is 3.14 and it continues, it does not end. So there is 3.1412 and so on. It continues that way, it does not end. Now, square root of 3 is also a rational number. But if I ask you, is square root of 9 a rational number? The answer is no, because is square root of 9 an irrational number? The answer is what? No. Why? Because square root of 9 is 3, so it is rational. But square root of 7, it is what? Irrational, because I can't find the square root, obviously. So it's irrational, and so on. And let's continue. So let's go straight to solving our examples now. I have something like this now. Example 1. On the number line below, the marks are equally spaced. What is the coordinate of P? Now, if you pay attention, you can see that this is what? 0. And this is what? 0.25. So for them to say that it is equally spaced, it means that from one line to another line is what? 0.25. Because if I go from 0 to what? 0.25, then I've added what? 0.25. So each of those spaces there will be what? 0.25. Now, anything that comes before the 0 is obviously negative, because when you have a number line like this, if this is 0, other things there will be negative, negative, negative. So let's count now. So I have this is 0.25, this one is 0.25 again, 0.25, and that's 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 0.25. So my answer is how many times? Um, so from here now, let's count from here. One, two, three, four, five, six, seven. So from 0 to P is exactly 70.25. So that's what? Minus 7 times 0.25. Now, why did I put the minus there? It's simple. Because of the P is on the negative side, it comes before the 0, so it's negative. So if I multiply that, 0.25 times 7, that will give us what? 583. This is 14 plus 3 is 7. 1 remainder 1. So that's what? Minus 1.75. So that's the answer to that question. The next question says, round this to the nearest integer. To the nearest integer. So this one is basic. So option A, so question A rather, nearest integer. So this thing is closest to which whole number? So my answer is obviously what? 52. That's the answer. If the question were to be 52.534. Now, because the number after the decimal point is what? Greater than 4, it is 5. So the answer would have been 53 in this case. Why? Because I'll change this one to 1, add it to this. So 53. That's the answer. Now, they said to the nearest hundred. What does hundred mean? Now, if I have, let's say I have 0.325. Now, this 3 here is called the what? The tenth. This 2 here is called the what? Hundredth. While the 5 here is called the what? Thousandth. Now, so clearly you can see that tenth is just one decimal place. Hundredth is just two decimal places, while thousandth is just three decimal places. So this question for hundredth is saying we should what? Put it in two decimal places. So the answer will be 52.3. Will I put 4 there? I would have written 4, but because the next number after 4 is greater than 4, it's up to that. So I'll change it to 1 and add it to 4. It becomes 3, 5. So this is the answer. 52.35. So moving on. If the question was to the nearest tenth now, the answer would have been 52.3. If the next number after that 3 were to be 5, for instance, it would have been what? 52.4. Alright, so our answers are 52 and 52.435. Now let's continue. Now look at this question. It says, which of the following shows the numbers arranged in increasing order? It means that it's going from, let's say, from, for instance, 0 to 1 to 2 is increasing like that. So first of all, we can eliminate. Let's eliminate the options now. If you look at option D, it can never be the answer. Why? Because positive, negative, positive, positive, negative is not possible. For it to be in increasing order, it must go from negative to what? Positive. So any place we see it not going that way to be wrong. Now let's look at every other number here. Now, first of all, 2 over 3, what is that? If I put this as a decimal, that will give us what? 0.66. It continues, so we just put 7. Let's stop there at 7. It's a recurring decimal. Now 0 point. So now this is negative. This is what? Negative. How do I write? I hope you know minus. If I have minus with 3, minus 5 is the same thing as minus square root of what? 25. That's what it's the same thing as this. So my question now is minus this and this, which one is what? Bigger. Obviously, this is minus 5. Minus with 3 is what? Minus 1 point something. So let's say 732, I guess. Now the biggest one here is this one. For negativity, if you have minus 9 and you have minus 1, the biggest one is obviously what? Minus 1, because minus 1 is a smaller negative. Is bigger negative in this case now. So minus 1 is greater than minus 9. So now we have established that what? Minus root 3 is greater than what? Minus 5. So in increasing order, what is supposed to come first? Minus 5 should come first. Minus 3 comes first, so it is wrong. Out and out. So my answer is obviously what? C. So because this is minus 5, comma, minus 1.732, comma, 0.667, comma, root 10 is like 3 point something, 3 point something, because root 9 is 3, and 4 is there. So in increasing order, the answer is option what? C. Very simple question. Moving on. Now let's simplify this one. So my answer is 11 minus 2 into bracket 2 minus 0.8 square is saying 8 over 10 times 8 over 10, which is what? 64 over 100. And when something is over 100, it is in two decimal places. So we go 1, 2. Decimal point is there. So that's 0.64. So this will give us 0.64 plus 24 divided by what? Minus 4. Now this is 11 minus 2 bracket. 2 minus 0.64 will give us what? 1.36. Now, so I do 24 divided by minus this, minus 4, that's minus 6. So here is minus 6. So this will give us 11. Minus 2 times this will give us minus 2 times 6 is what? 2 remainder 1. 2 times 3 is what now? 6 plus 1, that's 7. 2 times 1 is what? 2. Remember the decimal point, minus 6. So I can rearrange this. So this gives us 11 minus 8.72. So my answer now is obviously supposed to end with 8. There should be 8 here. What else could be here? I think that will be 2.2. So that's the answer, 2.28, which is option what? B. Now let's continue. Which of the following is an irrational number? Remember, it cannot be expressed as a what? Huh? Fraction. So the other one is easy. This one right here is what? Minus 12 over 10, which is minus 6 over 5. That's a fraction. This is already a fraction. This will give us minus 4 because it's rational. It is minus 4. Remember when I said that with 7 is what? Irrational because you can't solve this. But if you look at this now, this is the answer. This is irrational. Minus with 10. If it was minus with 9, then it will be minus 3. But this one is minus with 10. 10 is not a perfect square. So the answer is option what? D. Now let's continue. Okay, I think that's our last example for today. All right, so please go through the video again. If you have any question, you put down in the comment section. Chapter 3 is on its way. Bye.